Welcome to ChampionsHeart. You can't play boxing. Featuring boxing addict Johnny Farace and friends from superfans to superstars. Let's roll.
Hey, boxing fans. Today is Monday, May 11th, a.k.a. the first day of forever. And today we have a super awesome show, podcast number 2, and we bring back the OG, Mr. New York, Danny Stash, my co-host. And we'll be going over all the boxing current events we have today. A little chat gets going. So lock it in. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, guys? If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. All right, here we go. Hey, this is Johnny. Before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate you listening in, and I have love for everybody, and I hope everyone is doing well during this time in COVID. And just to let you know, there's always brightness on the other side of darkness. So let's roll.
ChampionsHeart Boxing News. New York, Danny Stash.
Johnny Sizzle Farace.
Mr. New York, Danny Stash. Welcome back. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, brother. They just thawed me out of the ice. It's been 10 years since our boxing podcast.
Yeah, right. Well, we're right back at it. And, you know, as soon as boxing gets back at it, we're going to have a lot to talk about. That's for sure.
I always got a lot to talk about, brother, especially if it involves boxing.
That's for sure. What you been doing to keep yourself busy?
A lot of exercise. Recently, the last couple of years, got into meditation. Been trying to eat good, watch some boxing, do some boxing, playing a lot of music. Just trying to keep the body, the mind, and the soul in good health. How about yourself?
You know, doing the exact same. I had a good chance to kind of slow down, take a good inward look at myself. It's been a good look and keeping real busy, staying very active, staying in shape, and waiting for us to knock the lid off this thing and get back going. But with boxing, not for sure exactly how fast. We'll get back into that, a little later on in our segment here. Danny Stash. Definitely keeping myself busy, as are you, and that's all we can do. And I think that's going to definitely be a real telling sign to the athletes and the fighters out there, which ones are and which ones are not taking advantage of this time, or is this time taking advantage of them?
Great expression there. I feel like this is an opportunity for a lot of people that, may have missed out on some time earlier in their careers. And really, if you stay on it now during these tough times when it's easy to take a break, I think this is a time for people to level up. And we're going to see some stars coming out of the woodwork, people that have really worked hard during a time when a lot of people that I know are taking some time off. So it's going to be interesting. I think this is going to be an opportunity for a lot of people.
It sure is. And, as this COVID-19 has definitely changed everyone's lives, everything in the world is going to be not completely, but much different, going forward, as is boxing. Boxing is going to look a lot different now, moving forward with COVID-19 and not having the fans and not having that type of atmosphere, that a lot of times that fuels the fighters inside the ring, just the energy from that crowd. I know last night there was a combat UFC event with no crowd. I'd have to try to think about how they feel inside that ring fighting without that crowd's energy behind them.
Yeah, I heard one of the announcers fart.
There you go. Well, we'll see we'll see what happens here. In terms of how they get going. I know that they did announce one fight coming up. Kind of one of the first ones that's been announced so far that I'm a little excited about. Actually, they announced what is it? Ryan Garcia versus Jorge Lineras, both lightweights. This is a step up fight for Garcia. What do you think about that fight?
Well, for one, I love Garcia. Not only is he a talented fighter, he's quite a personality. He gives a lot of himself out to the people on social media. And, for me, I see how he treats his fans, and I really respect that about him. I think he's a super, super talented kid, and I can't wait for him to get this test. Personally, I think he comes out on top. I think he's got that little extra gear, and he's got that heart. That is something that, a lot of even the great fighters, he just has that little extra intangible. So I'm excited for that fight, and I'm excited for him to pass the test. How about
right.
yourself?
Well, this absolutely will be a test for him because Jorge Linares, a former champion, has been in there with a slew of beasts, including Vasily Lomachenko, who he knocked down. So this could be interesting to see, a step up fight for Ryan Garcia to see if he's truly, everything that he hopes he, and Golden Boy and everybody else hopes he can be.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a great fight. It's interesting you bring up Loma. I think there's been some discussions with him potentially suiting up real soon with a guy that quite well and that we've known since he was a little kid.
And we both have actually. New York Danny Stash. Teofimo Lopez comes from right down here in South Florida. He grew up down here in terms of his boxing career. We both followed him for a long time and watched him, and his father actually push him to where he is now. So that is that he is the IBF lightweight champion. He won in dramatic fashion, knocking down Richard Comey. Knocked him down twice with one punch.
Yeah, that was an incredible fight. And you say the word dramatic. I think there's potentially a little drama brewing with Lomachenko. I think he took some offense to some of the things that Lopez and his dad have said. And it was an interesting warning he gave. He said, the interesting for me, it will be to look into his eyes and his father's eyes and see the reaction after the fight. What do you think of that?
Interesting. That's kind of a foreshadowing look to first he has to get through the fight. So, it could be that he looks through those eyes of winners.
Yeah. What do you see? What do you see happening in this fight? I mean, I'm kind of stumped on it. I think Lomachenko is one of the best fighters we've seen defensively, athletically. His footwork is just absolutely unparalleled. But this kid, Lopez, man, he packs a punch and he walked through his last opponent when that was supposed to be a test for him.
He's been scoring A+ on everything. He got an A- on the one fight that he fought the tall Japanese kid. The style kind of threw him off, and he had a few things going on in the background during that time too. But I see this fight. Of course, because I'm a friend of Teofimo and the family and the team. But I see it being a very strategic fight and coming down to the end. And I think that Lomachenko wins a close unanimous decision in the first fight, and then they have a rematch.
Well, I think it could be almost like a Canelo Triple G type situation where, the young buck comes in, maybe learns one or two things from Loma and then comes back and beats him. But hey, you know what? I think the only winner of this fight is going to be the crowd and the people that are watching, because this is like, for such a short career, relatively, I think what does Teofimo have, about 20 fights now, somewhere around there?
15, right.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, just to make that step, just even the last step, even myself, I was like, wow, this kid's going into deep waters early. But man, did he swim? He swam great. And I think,
A+.
I think he can beat Lomachenko. I honestly do. In the first fight, I don't know that Lomachenko's faced somebody with just the unique skill set and athleticism as Lopez. I'm so excited for this fight.
I truly am. And quite frankly, I'm on the fence. I said Lomachenko in a possible unanimous decision. It could possibly be Lomachenko, or it could possibly be Lopez with knockout 6.
That hey,
it could be one of either of the two.
On the same page.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It could be this or that. So I guess I kind of call it a 50-50 fight. Not 50-50 and then it's going to be a close decision. It's either in my opinion, Lopez knocks his ass out, or Lomachenko confuses him, and Lopez can never get off, and wins one of those Matrix style decisions.
Ring the bell. We're on the same page, brother.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, moving right on then. Let's Floyd versus BRONER is brewing in the background. So who the fuck is the bad guy in that one?
It sounds like Darth Vader versus the Lord Sith. Yes, me.
It's funny. It's kind of like, if you crank this all the way back to a young Cassius Clay versus Sonny Liston. I think at that time there were the crowd. Everyone was going for a double knockdown.
Well, Sonny Liston's rolling in his grave right now, being compared to Adrian Broner.
Yeah, I shouldn't have even done that. That's bad on me.
Shame on you.
I'm a little rusty. We're just getting back, Hey,
I think it's going to be an incredible fight just because of the personalities involved. Obviously, Floyd's been inactive and he's technically retired. I think, ironically, this is going to be the first time in Floyd's career that people don't want to see him lose. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic. I think Broner is kind of like Floyd Mayweather light, where he didn't have the elite skill set to back up his cockiness. However, Floyd did. Maybe the greatest boxer of all time. That can be argued another day. But I think that Floyd absolutely schools him. I don't care if Floyd's 65 years old. He's still going to beat Broner.
Speaking of 65 years old, Mike Tyson, 53 years old.
Mike,
about fighting.
If you're listening, please do not fight again. The world needs your brain as it is to convey the messages and wisdom that your heart has gone through. A lot of people out there are afraid. They need a voice like yours. Do not fight, Mike. I do not want to see Mike Tyson ever in the ring ever again.
Yeah, and he's listening, so yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, so Mike, yeah, hear him out.
Yeah, he texted me earlier. He was like, "Hey man, did you eat all the Doritos?" So
right on. All right. Well, speaking of Mike Tyson, Manny Pacquiao, Terrance Crawford, they're talking. What would you take?
I don't know about
fight?
that one. I actually was watching Pacquiao do some bag work, and it's absolutely incredible that guy still has the speed, the agility, and the athleticism. But at the same time, I mean, was the last fight really that entertaining?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. I mean, he beat Thurman he beat the brakes off Thurman, and there's a much bigger Thurman. And I thought
Thurman was on top of his game for that fight. Did he look like he came in as the Keith Thurman we've known in the past?
I mean, that's a trick question though, because of what past. I mean, his prime, his very short prime.
Correct.
For
me with this fight with Crawford, I don't know where this goes. Pacquiao's another guy. God, I do not want to see him get hurt. I know I'm kind of conservative with that, but I love seeing champions go out on top. And if you're a fighter, you never want to quit, and more power to you. But at the same time, when these guys get up in age, it's a little concerning. And, I don't want them walking around without their mental faculties 30 years from now. Pacquiao can do so much good for the world, especially for his country of Philippines. I just don't want to see. I don't want to see him get hurt. He's a national treasure.
Agreed. Speaking of Keith Thurman, they're talking about him fighting Mikey Garcia for whatever God knows on reason why that would even happen. But Thurman versus Mikey Garcia, what do you take on that fight?
Well, Errol Spence Jr. fight with Mikey Garcia. I think Spence kind of convinced us that, at the time, I think Mikey Garcia was undefeated. And I don't know why they're going to make that fight. For one, I don't see it as a fight that yeah, I agree. I don't really know. Keith Thurman, it depends. His career,
you know what it's like, mismatched. I mean, because let's make it. Mikey Garcia is not a freaking is not a welterweight.
We'll give it a you don't play boxing hard pass.
Boom. There you go. Hard pass. Yes, sir. Could a prime Ali beat a prime Tyson?
I just had this conversation with somebody the other day, and, it's tough because, I didn't get a chance to see Muhammad Ali fight, and I watch all the old tapes. I did see Mike Tyson, and just the aura that Mike Tyson brought was just absolutely magnanimous. His style is impregnable, and a lot of people, they don't understand that, you can't take eras and compare them really and truly, because it was a different world, and the world changes every year. So that being said, I think Mike Tyson would have beat Ali, only because of what the way Joe Frazier was able to beat Muhammad Ali. And I think that Mike Tyson was the more ferocious fighter than Joe Frazier.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
all the props to Joe Frazier.
Yes.
But Mike Tyson had more power. He was faster. He was more explosive. And he actually worked to his left and to his right more efficiently than Frazier did. And I think that would be something that Ali would really run into trouble with. But then again, it's Muhammad Ali, greatest fighter of all time, perhaps. Biggest heart. I still go with the prime Mike Tyson over Muhammad Ali. Probably not a popular sentiment.
No, we're sitting on the same side of the bench there, because I go with you too. I think so too. I believe that part of Ali's greatness was him kind of taking the fight away from the other fighter, but sometimes he had to like eat leather to do that a little bit. I mean, even in his career, he went down earlier in his career. He was, he wasn't invincible. Like Tyson was just a beast. I think Tyson versus Sonny Liston would have been like a brawl, like, I mean? I think Ali would have been obviously a bit more competitive, but I think, beast against beast, that would have been an interesting one, huh?
As we both know, styles make fights, and I agree with that. I mean, I would love to see that fight more than Ali, just because of the styles. It would have been like, two ships in the night going at it, and I think that would have been a better fight for the fans and a KO early.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Speaking of a fight you'd love to see, is this a fight we need to see? Triple G Canelo 3.
Not me, personally. Right. It's another one of these situations where Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather should have fought 6-7 years before they fought. I don't think Triple G is what he once was, and I think Canelo is at the absolute pinnacle of his game. So to me, I'd like to see Canelo fight somebody else that's in a prime, or at least even a guy like when Canelo fought Floyd, that chance for the guy to step up and beat Canelo. The first fight, obviously, I thought Triple G won that one and Canelo got the second one. So, yeah, this would be the rubber match. But at the same time, I think there's better fights to be made. That's my opinion. What about you?
I'm with you 1,000%. I think there's no need for it whatsoever. I'm a huge proponent of aligning the divisions within their own divisions to try to get champions within their own divisions, a.k.a. don't go all over the place and fight in all these different divisions. So let's align the division. There's so many fights that can be made. Even for Canelo, and he wants to be a light heavyweight, go let him fight at light heavyweight. There's a lot of beast up there for him, but I don't think there's any reason for those two to fight that would make any sense in any division. So for me, we don't need it. We saw we needed to in the first two fights, so let's move on. Who's your Sugar Ray, Robinson or Leonard?
Canelo Triple G, so we're giving that a.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You can't talk about. You can't play boxing. That's a hard pass as well.
I'm sorry. The Triple G Canelo. Yes, we'll back up, and I'm going to edit that. So the Triple G Canelo, we're going to give that a hard pass.
Hard pass.
So here we go. Who's your Sugar Ray, Leonard or Robinson?
I go Robinson just because of volume. I'm sure a lot of people will probably argue that with me. I mean, they both fought the greats. You got Jake LaMotta, you got Hagler. So it's like they all fought the best at the time. And really in the 80s, that division was maybe one of the strongest divisions of all time, of any weight class, of any time. At the same time, Sugar Ray Robinson, 199 fights. There's the longevity. I think he fought from 1940 to 1961, 24 years of fighting. That's my opinion. But I think Sugar Ray Robinson was the greatest fighter of all time.
And there you have it. There you got it right from there, from New York, Danny Stash. You heard it. All right, New York, Danny Stash. Why don't you give the fans, because you're such a fucking awesome boxing student and fan, why don't you give the fans some sort of some knowledge or something for them to go watch, some book to read or something? I know you have a lot of in your personal boxing library in your head, so why don't you share some of your boxing knowledge?
Well, through boxing, it's one of the things that I've been battling my whole life, just like everybody else, is fear. And when you go and you do things that are opposed to your nature, that fight or flight, and you start to get in there and you get comfortable, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be boxing, but I think anytime anybody's putting themselves up against their own fears, they're conquering something deep within themselves, and there's no greater satisfaction with that.
And there you have it. All right, man. Well, that's good stuff right there. So why don't you tell everybody where what you want to give out your IGs? You want to give that? Wait, you want to give that stuff out?
Sure.
Okay.
New York Danny Stash, Instagram. Hopefully I can, keep supporting the show. And as things go on and we build momentum, we can get some people listening and we'll get some callers. And I'm looking forward to it, Johnny. It's great working with you again after 10 years.
Absolutely, man, dude. It definitely is awesome working with you. It's good to have the ship back out sailing. We got, talking boxing's awesome. And we've definitely have always had a good chat about it, and people love hearing it. So listen, good chatting with you, New York Danny Stash, the co-host here. So we'll catch you up next week with you, and we'll talk some more boxing. Hopefully we get this America open sooner than later.
Love you, brother. You can't play boxing.
You cannot play boxing. All right, fight fans. Well, there you have it. And I hope you enjoyed the podcast today, brought to you by ChampionsHeartOnline.com. Please give us a visit. Please stay tuned. Please leave a comment whatever platform you are listening on. I appreciate that. And share the love. All right, guys. Have a great day and catch you next time.